अच्छा जी, बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। आज हम चैप्टर 5 पढ़ेंगे। इस चैप्टर की बहुत इम्पोर्टेंस है और this chapter is truly very important, and the reason is after problem statement, after finding the problem, you need to go through this and solve your problem. After finding the problem, this theoretical framework hypothesis development will lead to the solution of the problem. ठीक है, तो problem identification we have already done in the chapter number 3. Chapter number 4 is literature review, and the chapter number 5 is the theoretical development and hypothesis development. So this chapter is critically important, and I want you to give your best attention for that. What we will be covering, we will be discussing about the theoretical framework, deductive research. Theoretical framework is a very important part of a research. You see, without theoretical framework, there is no deductive research. So every deductive reasoning, deductive research, deductive approach requires you to develop a theoretical framework. Okay? So what we have learned in the last lectures about the deductive approach, so this deductive approach is possible through the theoretical framework. Describe 4 main types of variables and identify variables associated with any given situation. So we will be discussing the basic fundamental type of variables. These are 4. Dependent, independent, mediating, moderating. Okay? So these are the 4 variable types. And we will be labeling the association with any given situation. Develop a theoretical framework that includes all the relevant components. We will be developing a theoretical framework that includes all the relevant components. Relevant component means the relationship between the variables. Okay, the possible relationship between the variables and the type of the relationship of the variable. There is a difference between the relationship and the type. Any idea what is the difference?
That relationship would describe the effectiveness
Yes.
of one variable to the other.
Yes, very good, very good.
And type is of that which is dependent, which is independent.
Okay, nice try. Anyone else? Basically, you see, the relationship is the possible dependent and independent relationship. Possible dependent and independent relationship. The second is the type. Type is very, very important. The relationship can be negative or can be positive. Can be negative or can be both. So this is a tricky part. We need to see what is the relationship between the variable, and that is very, very important. So over here you see all the relevant components. Next is set of hypotheses to be tested. We are going to develop the hypothesis to be tested, because in the deductive approach we test the theory. What we do? We test the theory, and for testing the theory, for testing the relationship, we require hypothesis. The relationship statement. The relationship statement is hypothesis. So we will be discussing in detail about the hypothesis, inshallah. After this lecture, you will be able to develop your own hypothesis and confidently. Okay? And you would know what is the logical hypothesis and what is not. And you will also learn the language of the hypothesis, because it's a technical way of describing the hypothesis. The last one is the awareness of the role of the manager in the development of theoretical framework. So what you must know as a manager, that what you should know about the theoretical framework. Slide पे next. Forward करें slide पे. स्लाइड नहीं, सेम उस पर जाएँ दोबारा, हाँ उस पर फॉरवर्ड और अच्छा। तो इसमें इम्पॉर्टेंट क्या है? द इम्पॉर्टेंट इज द see, theory is important in both reasoning, deductive approach and the inductive approach. Theory is important. I already mentioned you that there is a theory is always there before we go into any problem solution. ठीक है? For example, if we observe that the birds, what is the color of the bird at the seaside, and we observe that they all are white, so we say they are white. So this is the example of the inductive reasoning. You see why we are observing birds. The question is, what is the concept behind it? So what does that mean? It means, why are we observing the color? So there is a theory which is making us to observe the color of the birds. There is a concept. So concept comes always with the theory. In the deductive approach, we test the theory. Inductive approach, we start with the theory. Sometimes even we develop the theory. Sometimes we explore the topics. ठीक है? Okay, move ahead. Just move ahead. Slowly. अच्छा, stop. Now, इसको adjust it, please. Adjust bar. Okay, these are the few sentences which I want you to read through the books. Since I am teaching you right now, so I am helping you out in this, but please read it at home and whenever you get the time. So this is the only topic which I have not mentioned in the slides, because it is a detailed topic and you need to learn this topic through these texts. Okay, theoretical framework. What theoretical framework is? It represents your beliefs on how certain event, happening, phenomena, concepts, variables are related to each other, and an explanation of why you believe that these variables are associated with each other. So the why concept is a theory. Why they are related to each other. Why they are related to each other. How certain phenomena are related to each other. How certain phenomena is related to each other. Okay. So you see, for example, if you talk about the phenomena, that there is an organism, okay, and this is the response. This is the response. Ab you see, there is a stimulus. There is a stimulus that lead to response. That lead to response. So we say it is called SOR model. Stimulus, organism, response model. This is called SOR model. Write it down so that you can relate this lecture. You can relate the theoretical framework with these models. SOR model, and the model says there is a stimulus. There is a stimulus, and there is a stimulus and then there is a response. So you can also say stimulus like this: stimulus, organism, and response. You can also make that. It is much more easy. Stimulus, organism, response. That is why it is called SOR. 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 There is a stimulus to the organism, and when there is stimulus with the organism, it leads to the response. So you see, what does that mean? it is a Pavlov's experiment. It is telling you, it is the model which is representing the theory, classical conditioning theory. It is a classical conditioning theory. It is called classical conditioning theory. What does it say? It says you can provide a stimulus for the particular response. You can provide the stimulus for a particular response, and that leads to a particular response. A stimulus is provided to the organism and the response is generated then. It started with the classical conditioning theory started or experimented on the dog. Okay, it was trained with the message of a bell. Okay, how come? In the beginning, the dog heard the bell, and then the dog was given food. And the second attempt, the same thing happened. There was a ringing bell, and food is there. Third time, what happened? The bell rang, so the dog was expecting food. So you might have seen or witnessed that there is a saliva on dog's tongue at the expectation of the food. So the dog was expecting food. So you keep providing stimulus, and the response is leading to the response. So the concept, for example, let's see what is the relationship with our management of business studies. You see, the customer is there, okay, and you provide promotion, and there is a purchasing. There is a purchase. Okay, got it? So you provide promotion to the customer, and the customer is purchasing. Okay, so basically, what triggers purchase? The promotion triggers purchase. So that's why we call it stimulus. Now you see, on the basis of this theory, you can use multiple variables. I use promotion. You can use promotion and discounts. Okay, you can use them, and you can use the purchase, shopping, online shopping. You can also use online shopping over here. Okay, online shopping. So you see, you can change it. So, but the framework is same. The framework is stimulus organism response. So that's how the theory works. You see the direction of the arrow. There is a positive direction. The nature is positive. The nature is, what do I mean by positive? What do I mean by positive?
They have a direct relationship.
Yes, very good. Direct relationship.
Promotion, when it increases, the purchasing of customer will also increase.
Exactly. Okay. Okay. So that's how we develop the conceptual model. It is called conceptual. Write it down. It is called conceptual model. 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 So you see, I am just summarizing this concept again. I just mentioned the theory. The theory is classical conditioning, and what it says when there is a stimulus given to the organism, then there will be a certain response to it. Okay, that is called SOR model. That is called SOR model. Then what happened? What we did in the same framework, we use different variables. Promotion, discounts for the stimulus, and for the organism we use the customer, and for the response we use the shopping behavior. Got it? So you can always use different. You see, these variables come from the literature. These variables come from the, because you are not the first one who is working on this concept. Okay, how the customer purchases, how the customer purchase behavior generate. Okay, so there are too many variables available in the literature. There must be too many variables. So what you have to do, you have to focus the most important one, the most impactful, and use them. That's what you do as a researcher. That's what you do as a researcher. So this is all written in the text of your book. So I discussed with you. So there's a definition of the theoretical framework, and it tells you first you need to define these variables, define these concepts, relationship, and then you have to tell what is the nature of the relationship. And whenever you define nature of the relationship, you keep discussing the theory. Okay, how theory is supporting you. How theory is, you see theory is supporting. Theory is saying the stimulus, when stimulus increase on organism, the response increases. So you see there is a positive relationship. So relationship is also been defined by the theory, and you see the conceptual model you develop on the basis of the theory. So the theory basically helps you in, okay, here I would like to, have you understood this idea? Or do you want more discussion about it? I want to give you more example so that you understand it well. Okay, another example is technology acceptance model. Technology acceptance model. So what does it say? It says when there is a perceived usefulness and perceived ease of use, okay, then the usage of chatbot ease of use, perceived ease of use. Usage of chatbot. So you see